All right, so explaining rosters. Are the rosters going to be expanded, and how are they going to replace players who? Do you get an automatic replacement player if you test positive? I mean, how's that going to work?
So what's going to happen with the rosters is they're going to allow the teams to bring their players under contract as well as their two-way players. Players have been given a deadline of the 24th of this month to opt in or out of playing. As we know, several players have expressed concern. If those players choose not to play, it sounds like the teams are going to be able to replace them and bring in a different player, as well as there are a handful of teams, they're all in the Western Conference, who have open roster spots at this time. So you're going to have up to 17 players there for the duration, inclusive of the two-way players. Sounds like the two-way players will be eligible through the whole run, playoffs and everything, because they're not normally eligible. And that's how the NBA is going to have kind of that pool of guys available to make sure teams are covered in case of illness, injury, or if players opt out.
What percentage of the players do you think are legitimately excited to get back and play, considering they got to go, sit in the hotel room for 2 days while they wait for these negative tests? They can't see their families. They can't go out or around town to go eat anywhere. They got to eat in the hotels. Most of these players don't have a shot of winning anyway, because the top 2 or 3 seeds usually advance to the finals. So what percentage of players do you think are really excited? I mean, I know they want to get paid, so I guess they're excited for that, but man, it just seems like they got to jump through hoops.
You would do it for their salaries, Jason.
Yeah, I know.
You would do it.
What do you think, Keith?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there are players. I've talked to several players they're very excited to get back at it, but they're on contenders. They're on teams that feel like they have a legitimate shot at winning a title. So those guys, I think, are a little motivated. And there are a couple guys who are, and it's a long time to go there just for us to be out in a couple weeks after, this thing starts. So there's that too. So I think it is going to be interesting to see how these guys come. But, if you talk to enough guys around the league, players, coaches, and the like, what they believe is once guys get there, the competitiveness factor takes over, and those players will, they'll play hard and they'll get after it because, for some of these guys, this is a little bit of a showcase. This is the last look. Some folks will have it them prior to free agency and the like, and those kind of things. So I think you're going to get pretty good competitive basketball once it's up and running.
Mm-hmm. Joined by Keith Smith, NBA writer for Yahoo Sports. Now, this is a pampered bunch of athletes. We know that the NBA players, they stay in the finest hotels, first-class travel all the way. Has Disney World done everything they can to try to placate the NBA when they show up on the campus, when they show up in the hotels in a matter of weeks?
I think they've done everything that they can to this point. They're still working through one of the things that they're doing right now. Is Disney doesn't have this vast abundance of oversized beds, but they're working on that. They don't have a lot of 7-foot guests roaming around the property all at the same time. So they're working on getting those kind of things in there. They're working on what they can do with, removable shower heads and the like, because, again, the rooms aren't set up for these guys who are 7 feet tall. So what you're going to start seeing, though, is they're really rolling out the red carpet for these guys. They're planning a lot of cool events for them. They're going to let them golf and fish. They're talking about doing, after the families join, some theme park access after hours, after it's closed to the day guests, being able to bring the families in and let them experience the parks and the like. So they're going to do everything they can to make sure these guys are well taken care of while they're on property.
So there are 6 phases to this return, just kind of reading it. Starting now. It says June 12th through the 22nd. So how many of these players are in Europe, and are any of these teams envisioning difficulty getting them back from Europe to the States, considering like the federal guidelines? I don't even know if that still exists, but I know that there were some restrictions on people flying in from Europe. So are there any issues there?
Yeah, they're that's part of what is happening now. Is that's part of why there's such a long ramp up to even getting to Florida in the beginning part of July, is because they've got to get all the players back first. So international players were asked to be back by the 15th, so earlier this week, and then to do whatever the individual guidelines are around quarantining and those types of things before they rejoin the team. All other players are going to be asked to be back in the home market by the 22nd. That's kind of the mandatory report date. From there, it'll be a bunch of individual workouts leading up to for about 2 weeks or so, and then everybody will pack up and move to Florida. They'll do about a 2-day, rest, relax time here while they make sure everybody's safe and healthy, and then they're going to move into more of a training camp style for about 3 weeks. So that's why there's such a big ramp up in order to get these games played, because there are a lot of people are asking, it's still, a month or so away before they're going to play games. What's taking so long? Well, these are the reasons why it's taking so long to get everybody back, and then make sure everybody is absolutely as ready to go as possible.
Wow. So from July 1st to July 11th, they can do workouts, but they're only individual workouts.
Yeah, so it's just like it is now. It's the small group workouts, very few coaches present, only assistant coaches. Head coaches I don't think can be there until I believe it's the 23rd to view the players, because the thought process was if the head coach is around, the players are going to feel more of a have to be there versus it being a voluntary thing. So right now it's still a voluntary thing, but when they get there, then they're going to start ramping up to more players in the gym. You can do a few more things, and then by the time they get to Florida, it'll be back to much more normal basketball environment.
All right, so talk about the TV coverage, and then talk about scheduling if you know anything about it, because obviously you're not in different cities and different times like we normally see. I assume they're going to use like 3 or 4 different courts. Are they going to have triple headers on one court? Will they start at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? How can we watch it?
Yeah, so there's 88 of those seeding games to be played in a period of about 16 days. And I'm not a math genius, but that tells me that's about 50 or about 5.5, 6 games per day that need to be played there. So what they're going to do is they're going to have 3 game courts set up that'll all be broadcast ready and ready to go. And my understanding is they will play in the early part when they're playing up to 6 games a day. There'll be 2 games played on each court each day, but there'll be about a 2.5-hour window, 2.5 to 3 hour window in between games on those courts to allow them to clean and disinfect and do all their things. And then what you're going to see is so they're going to stagger those times between those games. You're going to see some games start in the afternoon hours, and that they'll play those out. They're going to do everything they can to keep the West Coast teams in the West Coast windows so that it makes sense for them. So they may start as late as 10:30 Eastern here on the East Coast so that their fans can see their games at the normal 7:30 start times.
Wow.
And it sounds like the national broadcasters are going to pick up a lot of these games, but it sounds like there is going to be a regional component as well where it's, we're going to cover these games, there because that's a big chunk of the play to do this. This is really a made-for-TV event more than it is anything else.
Huh.
Joined by Keith Smith from Yahoo Sports at Keith Smith NBA. Give us your outside of the D.C. market view on the Washington Wizards. Bradley Beal's developed into an elite player, especially in the absence of John Wall. The hope is that Wall comes back healthy from the Achilles next year. You pair him up with Beal. Hopefully layering talent there with Shepard. Rui Hachimura develops. What do you think of the Wizards and their chances going forward?
Yeah, I think they'll be in the playoff mix next year, assuming John Wall is able to stay healthy and play. That's one of the better backcourts in the league if Wall can get back to, even part of his former level. They've got young talent. You mentioned Rui Hachimura, Thomas Bryant, some, Davis Bertans, if they re-sign him. They've got some really good, players there that, I think a lot of it's going to be health-based and in adding some additional depth, probably more on the veteran side to really make that push and compete for a playoff spot. But the bottom of the Eastern Conference, it's not like it's all that strong. It doesn't take much to get into that mix. So I think Washington's not all that far off right now, and that's with a significant number of injuries. So I think they'll definitely be in the mix there for the playoffs. And every indication I have is that's the intention is let's get back to being a good team and try to get back to being a playoff team as soon as next season.
Hey, real quick, Keith, regarding the Wizards, I know that they have to go, 6-2,
yeah,
6-2 or something like that, and Orlando has to go. I don't know. Do they 1-7 for them to catch him? I don't know what the math is.
Something crazy.
But if the Wizards are eliminated, let's say in the first 2 games, do they continue to play the rest of those games?
I think they have to.
Yeah, they will. Everybody will play out the 8 games, the 8 seeding games, because those count for all the teams involved. But my take is, people have said to us, what happens if a team loses those first couple? And my response is that then they'll treat it like they treat those last couple of weeks of the season in April, and they'll just play the young guys and just move on like that.
Gotcha. All right.